Can you make $500,000 a year as a technical sales engineer? Yes, you can, and in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do it in 2023. The year just started, and it is the perfect time to change your habits, change your weekly routines, and if you're not satisfied with your income level goals of 2022, then I'm gonna break down 5 steps as a technical sales engineer where you can make $500,000 a year or more. I know that there's some people out there that are gonna say, there's no way that could happen. I'm crushing it and I only made $225, $275. I'm here to tell you, you can. We work with people that have done it and continue to do it every year, but they follow these 5 steps that I'm gonna jump into. The first step is you need to do the math. And if you follow my channel and watch my content, you know I have a lot of stuff out there talking about reverse engineering your goals, and you can check out the channel and the videos related to technical sales engineering to go a little bit more in depth in it. But for the sake of this video, let's do some quick math. Let's just say, take your base salary out of it. So you need to first set what is your income goal. If your income goal is $500,000, $400,000, whatever the goal is, remove your base salary from it. Let's look at commission only, because that's the only thing that you can control your performance based on. So if you're paid commission based on closing deals, then we have to look at that and break it out. So let's just say you want to make $300,000 a year in commission. If your commission percentage is 2%, then you just have to reverse engineer it. I know that 2% of $1 million is $20,000, so I quickly can figure out that $15 million worth of business will give me $300,000 a year in commission. You have to do the math. You have to break it down so you can understand and not just think of it as, dude, $500,000 is a lot of money. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I'm looking at my deal amounts. You have to work backwards from it, do the math. Whether you're selling SaaS products and you're a technical sales engineer and you get 10% commission, 20% commission, and your deal size is not $1 million, it's not $500,000, it's $20,000, $50,000. Do the math right now so you can figure out how much do you have to do in commission or how much do you have to do in revenue in order for you to hit your commission goal of $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. All right, second step, you need to build your prospect list, your lead list. What's the difference between a lead and a prospect? A prospect is somebody that is qualified. A lead is the name of the company. You need to build this out and you need to consistently be building that. How are you going to build this prospect list? You need to use tools like your existing customers, their competitors. Use things like zoominfo.com, sign up for a subscription. Hopefully your company that you work for already has one, but you can build a list through ZoomInfo looking at strategic locations, strategic industries, company size, names, all of that stuff through it. But you need to be building this prospect list on a daily, weekly basis, at a minimum monthly, because you need new people to be able to pitch to. If you're looking for a free way to build your prospect list, go into LinkedIn, look at your current customers, and then click on that company page and look for other similar companies or companies other people visited, or just do an industry search based on the filters. If you have Sales Navigator, you can do this a lot more efficiently. You can say, show me all the companies in these specific industries of industrial, of tech, whatever type of industry you're working in, and then filter it based on company size, employee size. Now you've got a list of companies that you can say, show me all the people at these companies so I can start to build up my list of people to go after. The possibilities are endless, but too often technical sales engineers are like, I'm waiting for new leads to come in. I'm not going out there hunting. If you're looking to make $500,000 a year as a technical sales engineer, you need to be aggressive. You need to be on the forefront, bringing new people in. You cannot wait. Waiting is not an option. To get in the top 1% of all earners, you need to be aggressive and consistent with your actions. The only way to do that is to have a prospect list that is massive. So your total available market, whether it's your specific region, your specific territory, or an industry that you're working on, or a market sector that you're working on, you need to try and get that list as big as possible because you need new names, new people to call. Before you can go into step 3, you need to build out this list big enough so that way when you go to take the action level of it, which is going to be the next step, you need to be able to take massive amounts of action, and you're never going to get there if you just focus on a small list of 50, 100, 200 people. You need to be looking at thousands of companies, thousands of prospects that you're going after, and new names at companies, and new job categories, new job functions, whether it's going from engineering to operations to purchasing. You have to build this list as big as possible, but continue to do it every single month. Step 3, you need to put in the work. This is the action part. This is the part that people, if you did the first 2 steps, this is where people are gonna fall on their face because they're not willing to really be committed to the level of action that's gonna take. Whatever your goal was, I can guarantee you that you're gonna underestimate the amount of action by at least 2 to 10 times of what it's actually gonna take for you to achieve that. If you work backwards and say, if I have to talk to 100 people on the phone, if I have to call 100 people, again, reverse engineer the math. I have to call 100 people to talk to 10 people. Out of those 10 people, I'm gonna have a conversation with one person. So if you know that, then you have to work backwards and say, okay, just multiply it out. 100 people gets me one person I talk to. If I talk to 200 people, it's gonna maybe get me 2 or 3 people to talk to. Out of those 2 or 3 people, maybe you get an opportunity from one. You can do all the math and figure out if this is what I'm gonna get in the end, then this is the level of action, and just multiply it out that I have to take to get back to my number of closed commission and earnings that you have. That's where people get confused. They look at like, what's my close rate? My close rate's 20%, 30%, 40%. But what they're not focused on is how many people can I talk to? So who cares about the close rate? Obviously you need to have a close rate that's acceptable so you're not losing opportunities, but who cares about focusing so much on your close rate? Focus more on the number of people you're talking to, the number of deals that you have in the pipeline, because the close rate is gonna work itself out. The first place to put in the work is gonna be looking at existing customers. Existing customers, you've already built the trust, you're already servicing them, whether it's a software or an industrial service, or it's a product that you're selling to them, you're already servicing them. See if you can get more money out of your existing customers. The next area is gonna be the unsold. The unsold are people that you quoted and you didn't close. Go back through all of them. Look at the past 12 months, 24 months, 3 years. Get all of the unsold people into a list, reach out to every single one of them. Not only the person that you or somebody else was talking to at that point in time, but anybody else new at that company, new job functions, new departments, whatever it is, go back through the unsold, because you're not just a random company calling them, you've at least quoted them or had an initial conversation. So you have something to talk about. You can say, hey, we did this quote for you last year, 6 months ago, just wanted to follow up on this project. See what it's like. The unsold is a gold mine for possible opportunities that can happen very quickly. Third area is going to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, like I said in building your prospect list, LinkedIn is powerful, but you have to know exactly how to use it. Go to my YouTube channel. I have tons of videos about LinkedIn, how the algorithm works, how to use it on a daily basis, what you should be doing every single day. But you have to look at it from the standpoint of build your network, engage with your network, and then provide them something of value. As you're providing them something of value, it's an article, it's a video, it's something that's relevant to them that can provide them with value. It's not build my network, engage with them, go into messages and try and sell them. That will not work. You have to try and provide value in some way possible. But LinkedIn, again, extremely powerful for you technical sales engineers out there. The next step of putting in the work is going to be the follow-up. The money happens in the follow-up. You can do all of the upfront work, talk to people, you get them on the hook, you quote them, but if you are not following up on deals that you've quoted, if you're not following up on the people that didn't respond to you or the people that you did have a conversation with and all of a sudden they ghosted you, this is where the money is gonna matter. If you have a robust follow-up process, again, check out my YouTube channel for all the follow-up tips and things like that, but you have to be able to follow up with them in multiple ways. That's the key takeaway. You have to, number one, have a CRM system in place or something that's gonna trigger you to follow up. Number two, if you've been emailing somebody and they're not responding, don't just keep emailing them. You have to pick up the phone and call them. If you've been calling them, they're not responding, try and get their email. If that's not working, go over to LinkedIn, send them a connection request, then once they accept it, send them a message. See which is the preferred method of contact for them. If you can stop by and just pop in and ask for them from the receptionist, those are all methods. If you have to send snail mail to them, something like a postcard or a marketing piece or something like that in the physical mail, do all of these methods before you say that person is dead. You have to figure out what's the easiest way for me to get a hold of this person, and that comes from multiple ways to contact them. It's not just gonna be email and phone, turn to social, and those other methods that I mentioned. The last one's gonna be you have to use the phone. Too many technical sales engineers are too scared to do cold calls because they think that they don't work. I'm here to tell you that you can make millions of dollars in technical sales by actually using the phone, doing cold calls, follow-up calls, calling people multiple times to get a hold of them. You have to be consistent and persistent at the same time. The phone can make you millions upon millions of dollars if you're not harnessing it. If you're like, dude, I'm doing all these other steps that you're asking about and I'm still only making 300, 200 grand a year, I wanna go to that $500,000 a year, then you have to bring in the phone. While everybody else is focusing on the easy ways to do it, which is email marketing, which is going to be done at scale, it's less personalized. It's not something that you have to take a lot of time to write and send 100 emails or 500 emails. You can automate all that and your marketing team could do it. You have to pick up the phone because those things have been beat up and maybe they're getting 100, 150 emails a day. Maybe they're popular on LinkedIn and getting dozens of messages a day. Your attempt to follow up is going to get lost in the shuffle. That's where the phone, people stopped using the phones, people stopped calling people like years ago. If you look at it from a statistic of phone sales, cold calls in industrial specifically, the numbers have dropped off drastically in the last 5 to 10 years because people said it doesn't work. As people go to the right, you need to go to the left. Pick the phone back up, call that person. I guarantee that you will see success, but don't be lost by the fact that if you do make 100 phone calls to these industrial companies, I can guarantee you that 90% of the time, 80% of the time, nobody's gonna answer the other end of the call. You're gonna be leaving voicemails, you're gonna need to follow up with emails and voicemails. You're gonna put them through this cycle contacting method where you're continuously following up with them and using the phone, but don't get discouraged by that. It will work if you stick with it. Step 4, your weekly routine. Your weekly routine needs to be robust and consistent. You have to plan out your week and look at it not only from a standpoint of how am I going to get new customers, but what happens, let's say you have no current customers and you're new to sales and you're trying to make $500,000. As soon as you get clients, they're gonna be tugging your attention away. You have to break out your week and understand it from the standpoint of current deals you're working on is gonna take a chunk of your time. Existing customers might take a chunk of your time, whether it's onboarding or if you don't have a robust account management or customer service system at place at the company you're working for, that's gonna take away your attention and therefore your time. But you have to carve out time to be able to hunt every single week. Break it down from a daily standpoint, spending 30 to 60 minutes a day sending out those LinkedIn connection requests, engaging with those people on LinkedIn. Spend 3.5 hours a day making 100 phone calls. If you think 100 phone calls a day is a lot, that's ridiculous. It should take you 3.5 to 4 hours, regardless if you're going through a phone tree to dial the extension or whatnot. That should take you about 2.5 minutes to see if that person is even on the phone. And maybe you have a 5 to 10 minute conversation. If you break it down from a standpoint of if you're gonna do the way that I think it should be done for you to get to $500,000 in revenue, the phone is gonna be vital to that. So if you're relying on the phone, I would say 100 phone calls a day, that's 3.5 to 4 hours. Spend an hour on LinkedIn building out your network connections. Spend some time in email marketing, sending out 25, 50 emails a day to your prospect list and working that through and then leaving the rest of the time left over for doing proposals, quotes, whatever it is that you call it, answering questions from internal coworkers about existing customers, working deals, having discovery calls, demo bookings, whatever it is. You have to plan out your week every single week because that routine is what will keep you on track and it will avoid you from getting distracted once things come into play. You may have a routine and say, all right, in January, it's a new year like it is right now. This is what I'm gonna do for the next 30 days. But then you start to get some business and you start to get distracted or your company starts pulling you in a different direction with your time. You have to go back to it and not be susceptible to changing your entire weekly routine just because of outside distractions. You need to look at it from a standpoint of, I have to do this every single week. If you're good in sales or if you're new in sales, you should know or will know that building your pipeline is the utmost importance. You cannot pause on your outbound activity and not fill up your pipeline. Once it dries up, it's gonna take a lot of time and momentum to get it back up to the level it needs to be for you to hit the results and hit the numbers that you're trying to do. So in order for you to do that, you have to be consistent with this, and that's where a weekly routine, blocking time on your calendar from 10 o'clock to 2 or 12 to 4, I'm doing this activity and only this activity. You have to set it up, otherwise you will be distracted easily, and before you know it, it's gonna be the second quarter, third quarter of the year, you're gonna look up and you're gonna say, I'm nowhere near my goal. And then you're gonna start to lose faith that you'll even be able to hit that goal in the first place. Step 5, the last step is gonna be track your metrics, track your performance. You need to be looking at this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You have to be looking at how many calls did I make today? How many conversations did I have? How many meetings did I book? How many quotes have I done? Track that obsessively because as you're tracking that, you'll be able to see what's working and what isn't. If you look at making so many phone calls, that generates this amount of activity versus the phone versus social is generating this amount of activity, email is bringing in these types of opportunities, the website chat or website inbound leads is bringing in this much stuff. If you're not tracking it, you don't know where to spend and invest most of your time. Maybe in your specific case, in your specific industry, the phones are less effective. That could happen. And maybe you're only using the phone to follow up, but not do an insane amount of cold calls and outbound activity. That's perfectly fine if you have the data to support that LinkedIn messages or that email marketing or chat or trade shows or cold visits is more effective to you getting an actual opportunity. But if you're not tracking your metrics on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, then you're never gonna know where should you devote your time. Hopefully you have a sales manager that's tracking all that, setting up dashboards in something like HubSpot or Salesforce or some sort of CRM system to where you can easily look at it and say, this is all my activity, this is everything that I'm doing, here's the results it's getting, this is where I need to pivot and adjust, this is the areas that I have to spend more time. But if you're not tracking, how could you possibly expect to get to $500,000 a year in revenue for yourself if you're not tracking those performances and then tracking the results because of that. You're never going to get there. So don't look at it from the standpoint of, I'm gonna look at this on a monthly basis. I would be looking at it as a daily basis. I've got these daily goals to do this much activity. Look at it the next day. Did you hit that level? You probably already know if you did or didn't. Look at it on a weekly basis. Hopefully your managers are looking at it on a weekly basis and say, did I hit this level of activity? No, I didn't. That's going to then have a snowball effect to where if you're not doing it now, you're not gonna do it in 3 months. You have to start now tracking that activity on a daily basis. So guys, I know that you can hit this goal. It is not unachievable. Don't listen to people that say that there's no way that you can do this. Hopefully you've gained some insights out of these 5 tips. Go to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. Every single week we're producing tons of video content to help you reach your technical sales engineer goals on an annual basis, or little tips and tricks that you can learn along the way to make yourself more efficient. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and we will see you on the next one.